Hey all, it is March 23rd. This is my second take of this because a helicopter flew pretty much directly over my head, and yeah, kind of ruined my recording. So that's the price of filming outside, I guess. Um, so I have overcome my debilitating disease known as the common cold that pretty much put me out of commission the entirety of last week. I had a lot of things to do last week. Now I have twice as many things to do this week. Fantastic. No, this week I have a lot of work to do on the the Havoc Games Jam. I want to catch up on my work for Nimble, um, and I need to release this month's one-page adventure. It's called Detonation Station. I'm going to release something hopefully funny. I hope it's funny about it later on this week to talk about it. I have a few ideas. Some of them are very silly. It's unsurprisingly quite a comedic adventure. It's called Detonation Station, so you know it's a pretty ridiculous premise. You'll understand when you see it. um, Last night I ran the first session of a playtest for the next adventure I will be releasing, which is Atop the Dragon Summit by Joe Wilson. It is it went very well. The primary thing I'm looking for from playtests is obviously playtesters with feedback is fantastic, like people giving their perspectives on their play experience. But primarily the things that I'm actually looking for are like big holes in the adventure that I, as a GM, am like having to come up with shit on the spot or have to like recontextualize shit on the spot to make it make sense. And I found a few very minor things like that with Atop the Dragon Summit. Some like timeline stuff that doesn't make like a huge amount of sense, and like a few other like, oh, this could use some elaboration, like that kind of stuff. Like I remember with Rides of the Moleman, the last adventure that I released. One of the big things that I found from playtesting is that there is very minor spoilers, as there is a witch who lives near the town where the adventure takes place. And a lot of the townspeople think that she is responsible for all the inciting incident and all the shit that's going on. Spoilers, she isn't at all. But she's gone missing. Like people do know that she disappeared, and they think that that's why. Like she disappeared, and then all of this shit started happening. Um, and then my players who were playtesting went, "Let's go to her house," and I went, "Uh, uh, I didn't write that part. Uh, what I did is I made a bunch of shit up on the spot, and after the fact, made a note and went, "You should put the shit you made up in the actual adventure." That's what I did. So that stuff with, I think her name's Agatha because she's a witch, so of course her name's Agatha. It's something, Agad something, Agnes maybe, something like that. Her hut was ad libbed on the spot, and I took I tweaked that and put that in the adventure because like it was something that players are pretty likely to do, and providing the GM a few bullet points of information based on what the players can find there and a bit of empty space I already had on the page, yeah, it worked out pretty well. So yeah, that's how that's going. It's going pretty good. Um, yeah, I need to the April adventure, which I do want to get ahead on. It is called Ludus Maximus. I talked about it a little bit last week, and hell, maybe even the week before that. I think it is. No, I think it was the week before last, actually. It's about doing a bunch of espionage at a chariot race. It's not a traditional dungeon crawl. It's probably the first thing I'm going to write that's like genuinely, actually system neutral. Like it literally doesn't matter what adventure you run this in, what game system you run it in. Like you will have to change nothing to run it in basically any adventure, because it is basically exclusively a social and stealth encounter, like a social stealth encounter. There's very few instances where you need to be like always sneak through the warehouse and like, whereas I'm doing the like, sneak motion and can't see my arms, so I just look like I'm moving the camera backwards and forwards, but whatever. The Yeah, like that's it's still in notes phase at the minute, again because I've been ill this whole past week. Literally basically the only thing I have done is do a bit of work on Atop the Dragon Summit and pretty much fuck all else, because I was felt like absolute fucking dirt all week. I wasn't even that sick. Like, it was just that kind of like, I am exhausted, like physically and mentally, and I had a headache basically all week. It was a just generally not a fun time. Like I'm fine. I'm mostly okay today. I'm definitely more or less out the other end of it at this point. Um, Certainly, like, people I know have caught it and are faring far worse than I did. I had like 2 days where I was like really, really bad on that Monday, last Monday when I last recorded this, and the following day in particular were like not good, not good at all. Um, I must say, being given the equivalent of like effectively like a Tylenol PM one night, the other night, oh, shit was nice. Like, it's very much the um, like, sleep medication. It's not super great for you, but if you need it every so often, whew, that shit is light. um, Either way, yeah. So I got a lot of catching up to do this week. A lot of things I want to work on. In my first take, I got a little sappy about um, like relevance and time in the industry, and I'm going to try not to do that this time. But I did, I did get some really positive comments. I think it was the over the last couple of nights, because I shared Daughter of the Well semi publicly before it was released, just to get some feedback on it, and I got some really, really nice positive feedback on it, which was super cool. But the thing that really sort of like was big for me was seeing people excited to run it and excited to run other shit that I had written. And that for me is a first. Like, people reading my adventures and going, "Oh, this is cool." Like, that, obviously that feels great. Saying people reading your stuff and giving you earnest feedback and like, "This is what I like, this is what I didn't like." That feels great. And I don't get that very often either. But getting people who are just excited to read and engage with the things that you make is who don't have like a vested interest in your personal emotions, like, people that like people who are your friends, and your family, who it's it I don't know, it was something I didn't expect to affect me as much as it did, because it's not like a first, but it's like having that, like, a stranger has read my work and is excited about it, I think has only ever really happened like once in my life. Well, like, on a professional capacity. I mean, even that notwithstanding, like, only ever once prior. In a non-professional capacity. Again, ignoring people, my friends and family, whose opinions I do care about, but it's like, if you have a vested interest in somebody's emotional well-being, you're much more likely to be charitable to them and be excited about the things that they do, because you know them and you presumably care about their thoughts and their feelings and understand on some deeper level why they do the things that they do. So you're more inclined to not necessarily put on your feelings, but you are inspired to feel more feelings about the things that people you know that they create. Like, I have that experience when people I know make stuff, I get very excited about it because they're people I know, irregardless of how good they necessarily are. And I will like them in spite of perhaps objective quality, because they were made by people that I know. Um, uh, like, people, friends, like close friends. Like, I have friends who are musicians. I have family members who are musicians, and when they release stuff, I get excited about it because they're my friends and my family. And regardless of how objectively good what they make is, and to be clear, my musician friends in particular are, and family members are very, very good. Like I think almost from like a critical standpoint, they are quite good. But because they are my friends and I understand like what they've written on like a deeper context, it's more impactful to me, and thereby my opinion of it, while very positive, is tainted in a way. Like, not that it's less valid, but like, for them and for me in return, receiving that kind of like feedback from people that I know, it's like, well, of course you think that, because the presumed reality that you like me and you care about my feelings and you care about the things that I do predisposes you to liking the things that I make, right? Like that's not I hope that doesn't make me sound insane, but it's yeah, like basically receiving unprompted engagement on the things that you create from strangers hits real different. It hits very, very different. Mostly better. Like obviously, if some random guy comes out of the woodwork and says everything you've made is ever shit, everything you've ever made is shit, there's a good chance that guy's a piece of shit. Like yeah, it's going to affect you because anybody doing that would affect you, but like the guy's probably full of shit and has whatever. Who fucking cares? You can put those feelings away, but to receive praise from strangers in a world that is overwhelmingly negative is it's again for as saying in the first take of this, like somebody who's been working professionally in this industry for 7 years with very little upward momentum. That feels that's unreal. That's something I fucking need, you know, like motivation to keep doing this. Like I like doing this, I love doing this, but motivation that I'm doing it for any reason other than it's the only thing I know how to do. Gonna be real, kind of need that. You know, like on like a soul level of like any kind of validation that what I do means anything to anyone who doesn't already have a vested interest in caring, you know. Yeah, that's I'm going to stop there before I go on another 5 minute long tangent about sappy shit. There's a bee. Where's he gone? Oh, he's over there now. Okay. I get nervous around animals or just other things coming near me. You can see my like when I'm recording these, my eyes are like on the swivel all the time for mostly people, but also like bugs and birds and such. Like looking at animals, just want them to stay a minimum of 5 feet away from me at all times. Um, um, yeah, other than all of that, which is basically the bulk of what I have going on right now, um, I've had this sort of itch to write adventures, write games, more and more of late. I've got too much going on to do any of those things, and also like I've blocked up most of this year with adventures other people have written, publishing, like for me publishing adventures other people have written and are writing, and adventures I've already written. The only adventure this year that I am planning to release that is not being written, that I need to write, i.e., that's not being written by other people or that I haven't written previously. There's one adventure that I want to release in December. And I was talking about it as a Hexwell. I think I mentioned it one time recently. I really want to write that adventure, and I kind of want to write that adventure like 5 minutes ago. You know, I want to be writing it right now. You know, I wanted to start writing that adventure a month ago, or start researching for that adventure, writing notes for that adventure a month ago. And maybe I can scratch that itch by starting to do research, but as of right now, I've got so much going on that that's eating into time. I could be making progress on other things instead of starting new projects for an adventure that doesn't need to be released until December. Like, this is going to be a slightly longer one. Should definitely be starting on this adventure. Probably come June, I think, is when I should be really like, oh, I need to start on this now. But yeah, I'm like that feeling of having a long-term project, something, because like the one-page adventures are so much fun. They're super cool. They allow me to explore a lot of ideas, churn through a lot of sort of weird ideas that would never fit for like an 18 to 50 page adventure, and I can fit on a single page. I've got a whole fucking notes app full of weird ideas The adventure for May, I think I may decide to do something else. It's called Slime Sunday, like Slime Sunday, like the ice cream, except it's it's about flavored slimes. I haven't really thought about it any more than that. I don't really know how it's gonna work. I don't know, but the yeah, like that's I can do weird shit. Is basically what I'm saying. I can do weird shit. But I miss those long-term projects, man. I really, really do. They feel fucking amazing to just sort of plug away at and see your progress on. Because one-page adventures, again, fun to write, but the actual time to complete from written notes to finished layout is probably a total of about 12 hours. Like, realistically speaking, it's probably about 12 to 14 hours spread out over the course of about 3 weeks. Usually less. As of right now, it's definitely more than that because I'm still on notes phase with Ludus Maximus just because I've been ill and I've been so inundated with other shit, which is unfortunate, but that's how it is. Writing RPGs. I've got so many RPGs. I don't know how many of them I'm ever going to get to release, which sucks, but that's what happens when you have no budget. I got some games that I think like I talked about Cape recently. I love Cape. I think Cape has a huge amount of potential in the play space. I think there's a lot of people out there who would really, really want to play Cape. Every time I explain it to anyone, they go, "That sounds kind of sick, actually." I have a Pokemon TTRPG. Obviously, I can never release that, like, for money anyway, because I will, there will be, like, I will press, publish on a paid Pokemon TTRPG, and I will instantly hear sort of the faint sounds of like that like a Japanese lawyer will teleport directly into my room and hit me in the head with a briefcase, knock me unconscious, and I'll wake up in a dark room somewhere, tied to a chair with a light bulb swinging from the ceiling, and Reggie Fils-Aimé will stand there menacingly in front of me. I know he doesn't work for Nintendo anymore, but it's funny to envision him in such a stark scenario. So that's no, Doug Bowser's gone now too. Fuck. Who's the new? There's a new CEO of Nintendo of America. What the fuck is her name? Because her name isn't Doug Bowser, so I literally am never going to remember it. Yeah, I want to write adventures. I want to keep writing adventures. Writing games. I've got maybe the Pokemon TTRPG I'll release as like a free thing. Like, oh, here's a Google Doc. Here's my Pokemon TTRPG. This is what I made. I honestly might do that. That would be kind of cool. Yeah, I've got like a sort of OSRE game that I've been working on called Wanderguard. It's in very early stages. It's sort of a hack of Vagabond in a few ways. Like there's a lot of things about Vagabond's core design that I'm like, this is quintessential. I could never run an OSR game without exactly this system, because I think it's basically perfect. So yoink, let's put that in my game now. It's cool. It's not stealing if you acknowledge where you stole it from, and you're doing it for artistic reasons. Broadly speaking, how that works. It's a bit more complicated than that, but I promise it's for good intentions in my heart and soul. Promise. I got a fucking racing RPG. I want to do wacky races. It's called Infinite Turbo. It's fucking ridiculous. I don't know. I want to write stuff, and I want to have the capacity to just write stuff and release stuff and not have to worry about all the rest of it. And that's never going to happen. That's not how that fucking works. So, yeah, I'm going to stop rambling now because this has gone pretty long. I ran out of actually relevant things to talk about like 10 minutes ago. I'm going to head out and finish shopping and then go home and work on the Havoc Jam. So yeah, have a good week. Don't get sick. Don't catch my cold. That's not how that works, but you know, don't catch a cold, I guess. Just don't parry that shit or whatever. Don't get ill. Just withstand, survive, breathe. Um, I'm not sure where I'm going with this. I'll see you next week. Goodbye.